Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney and today is Wednesday, May 18th. I'm here with your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thank you for joining me here on 3 News Now, where we bring you the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio. These are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and our app. And we start off with an update on the civil lawsuits that Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is facing. There has been some testimony leaked from depositions in the case. The deposition transcript was obtained by USA Today, and now reporting is showing that Deshaun Watson is confirming at least one thing that someone said in the complaints against him. Reminder, Deshaun Watson faces 22 civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual misconduct. And in one of those complaints, he's accused of making a massage therapist cry after a session. That massage therapist alleges in the complaint that she was touched by Deshaun Watson's private sexual organs in the course of a massage. And afterwards, we now learn from the leaked transcript that Deshaun Watson confirmed he did notice that the woman was teary-eyed at the end of the session and then apologized to her about her feeling uncomfortable. So in the transcript, there are text messages that are part of that record, and this text message was previously posted as well by attorneys for the people who are bringing these allegations against Deshaun Watson. Now, as a reminder, Watson has maintained his innocence throughout this, but he does still face these civil lawsuits. And he did say in the deposition that he did apologize because she was teary-eyed. He said, "I was trying to figure out what was going on, so I assumed that she was uncomfortable in whatever reason, and we talked about working in the future, and so I said, we can work in the future, just let me know." And then I sent my apologies as whatever reason she was teary-eyed for. Now, there were questions back and forth about why he actually apologized, and he said he assumed that she was uncomfortable, and he said that he did not know why she would have been uncomfortable, but he assumed that was the case because she was teary-eyed. Now, according to multiple reports, Watson has met with NFL investigators this week, and some are saying that's a sign of the investigation winding down, as it was previously reported by some reports that he would be the last or close to the last person talked to in the NFL's investigation. Now, we are learning about a swastika found painted at Kent State University, and officials are condemning the act. This is just after yesterday we heard about a Lake Catholic High School lacrosse student being accused of having a swastika painted on that person's leg at a playoff lacrosse game against Orange here in Northeast Ohio. And now we're finding out that there's a swastika painted at Kent State University. Police at Kent State University said they don't know when it was painted, but they did notice it. So here's a statement from Kent State University posted to its site. "We are not sure exactly when it was painted, but in the aftermath of the massacre in Buffalo, New York, its appearance serves as a reminder of the threat of extremism and the need for all of us to denounce the growing wave of racism, intolerance, and violence in our nation. Kent State is committed to creating a community of kindness and respect, and the recent appearance of this symbol of hate is a reminder of the work ahead of us during perilous times." Now, here's a bit of context from Hillel at Kent State University. The swastika is an anti-Semitic symbol. It represents the Nazi regime that murdered over 6 million Jewish people and millions of others. They went on to say the symbol has since been embraced by other hate groups in an attempt to intimidate and traumatize the Jewish community. With the rising wave of extremism in our communities, we cannot ignore this act of anti-Semitism and denounce hate of all forms in the strongest possible terms. We're also learning more about what happened in Buffalo on the administrative side. There was a 911 dispatcher who was accused of hanging up on someone who called from inside the store where that shooting took place over the weekend. As a reminder, this was a grocery store in a predominantly black community, and the person who was accused of the shooting had posted a sort of 180-page manifesto online talking about this sort of extreme belief and white nationalism. So now we're learning that someone within it, her name is Letitia, she had said that she had called 911 from inside as shots were ringing out. And she said that she tried to call, that she was whispering because she could hear the shooter close by. And then when she whispered on the phone to 911, the dispatcher started yelling at her and saying, "Why are you whispering? You don't have to whisper." Then she said she tried to tell the dispatcher, who she identified as ma'am, that the person was in the store and shooting and is an active shooter and that she was scared for her life. And then she said the dispatcher said something, quote, crazy to her and then hung up on her, and she had to call her boyfriend to then call 911. Now, in the state of New York, 911 calls are rarely released to the public, and the media does not have access unless getting a court order for that information. Erie County, which runs the 911 Communications Center through Central Police Services, confirmed that the incident is being investigated and that the individual who took the call is now on administrative leave pending a disciplinary hearing. That should happen within a couple of weeks. Now, here in Northeast Ohio, Frontier Airlines had to return a flight to Cleveland Hopkins International Airport because of an unruly woman, and 2 other passengers were also removed from the flight. The flight was headed to Phoenix on Monday evening, and the captain turned the plane around, took it back to the terminal at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Now, what we know is that there was a passenger who was called upset, and that person was removed along with that woman's companion. We do now know who the 3rd passenger was. That 3rd passenger was Steve Loomis, a Cleveland homicide detective and former head of the Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Association, which is the union that represents officers. And he told us that a person near his seat started yelling and cursing for an unknown reason and then got belligerent with the flight crew. He said that he started recording, but a flight attendant asked him to put the phone away, and he told the flight attendant that this was for their benefit and he was protecting them. He said he was willing to jump in if the woman needed to be restrained. So that was not the case, however, and he himself was escorted off the flight as well. He said that he and 4 other detectives were on the plane and headed to Phoenix for a homicide training conference. It's a developing story. If more information becomes available, our 3 News investigator, Mark Namick, who was on this case, will be sure to bring that to you. Now, here's an interesting development here in Northeast Ohio. Marissa T. Darden has withdrawn from consideration as the new U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Ohio. And what's interesting here is she already had the job. She had been confirmed by the Senate. That happened back in April. She was recommended by both Ohio U.S. Senators Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman. Her candidacy had bipartisan support. Finally approved on a voice vote in the Senate. That was back on April 27th, and now we're learning that she is taking herself out of the consideration. She was not specific about the reason for this, but she alluded to real life in a statement. She said, "If there's anything this time has taught me, it's the importance of prioritizing family." And she says that she looks forward to returning to a successful private law practice and serving her community in other ways. We will bring you more information if it becomes available on her choice not to assume that position for which she had already been confirmed. Now, a lot of people are very concerned about the baby formula shortage, and that extends here in Ohio. So today, Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff was talking about some things that people should not do if you are looking for baby formula. He says, don't dilute your formula to make it homemade. It's not a good option. If your child is on a specialty or a medical formula, call the healthcare provider to ask about adjusting the prescription or an appropriate alternative. And he said that there's a guide from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to help locate baby formula. We have that linked on WKYC.com. He also talked about the state's WIC program as something that people might want to take advantage of at this time. The Ohio WIC program helps women and infants up to the age of 5 who are at risk for inadequate nutrition. And WIC here in Ohio has been working with federal agencies involved in the oversight of the program, as well as formula manufacturers, to kind of lessen the impact of this nationwide shortage of formula right here in Ohio. So the state wants you to know that they are doing what they can, and that comes right from Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff. And that happened today as part of something we haven't seen in a while, an Ohio Department of Health statewide COVID-19 update. So that was rolled into that today. So Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff talked about the virus circulating and Ohio's total cases going up over the past several weeks. And he says, but remember, they are a fraction of what they were in January. And they do recognize that some of this is because fewer people are now getting tested or not reporting those test results. That's certainly a factor. But they said that it's clear looking at the numbers, we're still doing well when it comes to the volume of severe disease that we are dealing with. Now, speaking of the volume of COVID-19, Cleveland Guardians manager Terry Francona is back following a COVID-19 outbreak in the ball club, so he will be on the bench for today's game against Cincinnati, along with coach DeMarlo Hale. They both tested for positive in the coronavirus outbreak last week when the Guardians were in Chicago, so they returned to Ohio on a bus as the team went on to Minnesota. Hitting analyst Justin Toole is also back with the Guardians. There were two separate outbreaks with the Guardians in recent weeks. First baseman Josh Naylor, though, is the only player who is currently sidelined with COVID on the Guardians roster. Moving to basketball, the Cleveland Cavaliers will stick at the number 14 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft lottery. And this is the lowest pick that the Cavs have had in the lottery. They previously selected Derek Anderson with a 13th pick in 1997, and that's when there were only 13 teams in the lottery. So that was the last pick at that point. So in addition to that, the Cavs will also pick in the second round at numbers 39 and 56 overall. And those selections came from trades with the Utah Jazz and the Indiana Pacers, respectively. And if you are a fan of the Food Network show Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, this is a really good time for you because there have been a lot of Northeast Ohio places on that show, and one of my favorite spots, Mason's Creamery, will be on it this Friday. Guy Fieri pops into Mason's Creamery. It's on Bridge Avenue in the Ohio City area of Cleveland, and they tweeted about it, saying that they had closed down for a few days to host the show. That was a couple of months ago. So the show will air on Friday at 9 p.m. It's called Chicken, Steak, and Cake. Here's what the description says. They say Guy Fieri's doubling up with a sweet and savory episode, both hot and cold. And here in Cleveland, it's a 2-for-1 spot, making an outrageous ice cream cake combo alongside a raclette ramen mashup. I don't know if I'm saying that first word properly at all, but I will tell you, Mason's Creamery is a ramen house in the winter, ice cream shop as well, ice cream shop all summer long. And if you missed the first show on Friday night, it'll re-air 3 hours later at midnight. And he was recently at Michael Simon's Mabel's Barbecue on East 4th Street and the Raleigh Inn. So like I said, Northeast Ohio, strong presence on diners, drive-ins, and dives. We love to see it. Here's something else we love to see. We want to send a shout out and send some good vibes to the Cleveland Marathon runners because that's this weekend. Very big deal. The events kick up on Friday and they go through the weekend. The races are on Sunday, May 22nd. This is the 45th running of the Cleveland Marathon. The start point is on St. Clair at Mall B. That's at 7 a.m. on Sunday. That's for both the full marathon and the half marathon. So sending good luck wishes to everyone who will be running either 13.1 or 26.2 miles, or if you're just going to cheer on someone you love, or if you're just getting out and getting a walk, you know, all that good stuff. But sending good luck and good vibes to those people who are running in the marathon this weekend. Good luck, everybody. All right, that's it for your 3 News Now update today for a Wednesday, May 18th. I'll see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.